you can be doing really good at this sport, and there's a lot of money to be made. But I feel like to get into it, it's kind of hard to get, into that level. A lot goes into it, and I'd have to say, like, make sure you get on as much practice as you can. If you have a week off, make sure you're getting on practice bowls, or, doing something to get better and prepare yourself, and just, train as hard as you can to get ready for them ranker bowls.
Okay, so it's Carla Rand on the Carla Rand Show, and I've got with me today Jake Gardner. Jake, thanks for joining me. So I met you at the gym, at Golden Gains Gym in Edson, and you were working there. And I saw you training, and I was like, what are you training for? So I wanted to go over there and I talked to you, and I found out that you were a bull rider, which was super cool because my brothers rode bulls. And so I was interested in talking to you and kind of finding out more about you. So thanks for being on here, Jake. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet. No, it's been good. I know we've kind of been back and forth with each other. I've been a little busy, and I think you're pretty busy too, but it's good to finally find some time here.
Yeah. So why don't you take us back to, little Jake, when you were a little kid? Where did you grow up? Tell us a little bit about your family, that kind of stuff.
So I'm from up north. Fort St. John, British Columbia is where I was born. I got 3 older sisters. My mom is Michelle, and my dad's Edward. I kind of grew up there. My dad had a ranch. We grew up on that ranch, and we were always riding horses since the time we could walk. And then he kind of got us into rodeo at a young age, taking us to the rodeos around there, getting us on sheep. My sister's doing the barrel racing thing, and then kind of over the years progressed and got into high school rodeo, and just kind of grew up in Fort St. John, played hockey a bit when I was younger, and did the rodeo thing. And then I kind of rodeo caught my eye, and that's kind of the direction I went. But I graduated from Fort St. John 2014, and then I went to school from there, went to college down in the States in California, was down there kind of back and forth for 2 years, and then went up to Canada and kind of started my professional rodeo career up there from there.
Cool. So what did you study in college?
Oh, shoot, I'd have to say Rodeo 101. I kind of just went down there to just kind of see what the States was about. But I went for a year of business, and then I went for a year of welding after that. I didn't get anything out of it, but I got to upgrade on my rodeo skills and a little bit of knowledge. So it was good.
Cool. So Fort St. John, I've been up there. That's kind of a cool place. Lots of farming, ranching up there. Hey.
Yeah, more around Dawson Creek. I feel like Fort St. John's more oil and gas based right now. But my parents, they live around Dawson Creek now. So when I do get up there, that's kind of where I hang out, is around their place. So.
Okay, so how did you get into rodeo, Jake? So your family took you to these rodeos. You got on sheep first. Did you ride broncs and then steers? Did you ride a whole bunch of different things? Did you ever try roping? What was sort of your rodeo path?
So I don't know, kind of growing up as a kid, my dad, he's a second generation rancher. He rode broncs, rode bulls, and steer wrestled. So he kind of always had us kids getting on horses and stuff. And I remember we'd go to them rodeos around there, just like little jackpot rodeos, and kind of started getting on sheep and stuff, and kind of started with that. And then when I got a little older, I think, around 10 or so, he got some steers for me to start getting on. So every week he'd try and bring practice in for me. And then kind of from there, I just progressed on my skills and started entering some rodeos. And meanwhile, he kind of got me roping a bit and doing that. I tried saddle bronc riding out. I didn't really like it that much, so I just kind of stuck with riding bulls, team roping, calf roping, and steer wrestling. I kind of did that, and just, they got what you call as high school rodeo, and you can go in there and go on all sorts of events and do that thing. And so I did that till I graduated, and then after that, kind of went to college for a couple of years, and yeah.
So you tried sounds like you tried a lot of different things in the rodeo. What was it about bull riding specifically where you were like, this is what I want to keep doing?
I'm kind of a high adrenaline guy. I like adrenaline a lot. Growing up, I was always, playing rough sports, dirt biking, quadding, stuff like that. And I just feel like bull riding, when you ride one, it just kind of gave me that rush. And I don't know, I really like the lifestyle. I've got to do a lot of things and see a lot of places I never thought I would have ever ended up. And it's been quite the ride, that's for sure.
Yeah. So talk to me about bull riding. Okay. They always say it's not when you get hurt, it's if and how bad, right? So talk to me about your injuries, because when I saw you at the gym, you were actually training and you were trying to like basically recover from an injury. So how many injuries have you had and what's kind of happened to you with your bull riding?
I've probably had 3 or 4, maybe 5 serious injuries that set me back for more than a few months at a time. When I was trying to be a saddle bronc rider, I broke my ankle, got surgery in 3 different places. So that was kind of a bad one. I was out for 3 or 4 months. About the first year I was going to go professional, I was kind of on a roll doing good. And in Sundry, I tore my shoulder out. That took 3 or 4 months to heal. And then what else have I had? I've kind of fractured some bones here and there, not serious stuff where I had to sit out. I could still ride with it. Concussions, I've had a number of those. That just, you kind of got to sit out for a bit and get feeling better. And then the latest one, I tore my bicep this last winter. So that just kind of consisted of sitting out for 2 months. Then I got to start rehabbing it. And then I started getting back in the gym and kind of getting back in shape and getting ready for this season.
How did you tear your bicep?
I was holding on to the bull. I was trying not to let go. I got on a pile of bulls. It was at PBR Canada finals. I got on, I don't know, it was like 3 re-rides that weekend. So I got on a few. I kind of got stepped on my forearm and it kind of got big and swollen. And then I had a bull in the short round and I knew he was pretty good. But yeah, he just lunged out there, got real high in the air the first jump. And I felt it stretch right out. It didn't pop. And then on the second jump, I felt it pop. And basically I didn't have no strength after that. So I kind of had to get off the bull, and right away I kind of knew something was up with it. And then I pulled up my sleeve and I could see that bicep tendon sucked all the way up to my armpit. Talked to the doctors there and they told me it was torn and I'd have to get surgery. And so a few days later I went and got surgery. And yeah, it sounded like torn bicep getting surgery. It sounds bad, but it wasn't that bad for an injury. Could be a lot worse, could be a year, could be 6 months. Luckily I was only out for 3 to 4 months.
Yeah, that's amazing that you're only out that long, because that's your riding arm, I'm assuming.
Yeah, riding arm.
Yeah. So you're able to actually get, because you've been back on bulls since that. Have you noticed that it's like, is it bothering you at all, or is it 100% or?
Well, in Canada, we're really fortunate with our sports medicine doctors. I think I might be biased, but I think they're the best in the world that get to help us out and they work with us. So there's a place called Acumen. They're in Edmonton. They kind of got me on a rehab plan, and also Brandon Thomey with Prairie Therapy in Calgary. He's kind of our go-to guy for us bull riders. So he kind of got me set up through Acumen, and we just kind of kept back and forth. I told him hey, I don't want to sit around all winter. I want to go and work and do something. So they got me set up on a program, and yeah, they just kind of got me working as best as I could to do that. And then when I come back, it was a little bit sore for the first few, but then it seemed like it stretched all them unused muscles back out. And then ever since then, I've been good to go. I haven't really had no complaints on that.
Sweet. That's awesome. So talk to me a little bit about what are some of your best rides, Jake? Like, do you have some that sort of stand out? Maybe your score was really high or it just felt right. Like, can you remember some of those?
Yeah, I feel like I've had a few of them. I think probably the coolest one for me, I got to go to Brazil here. I think it was 2019, and I was 90 points down there. And it was just kind of cool. I was from a different country. There was me and 2 other Canadians, and just to do it in front of all those Brazilians and be 90 points, it was kind of cool. That ride stands out to me, just different country. I've had a few of them actually in Grand Prairie, up in front of my family and my friends. I've been 90 up there once at the rodeo and won it. And then this last fall, I got to win the PBR up there. And those rides mean a lot to me because, I'm riding in front of my fans, my friends, and my family. So those ones kind of stick out as well.
What's your highest point ride? Was it 90?
Yeah, I think it was 90 and a half was the one in Brazil.
Cool.
And I think Grand Prairie was 90 and a half as well.
Mm.
But yeah, to this day, I got 2 of them, and like 90s, they're kind of hard to get in Canada. You really got to ride a bucker to get a 90-point ride. So they're kind of hard. I want to get more than 2 though, for sure. I want to get a bunch more.
Is there any bulls that you haven't got on that you really want to get on?
Yeah, there's some really good ones like down in the States here. There's Whoop Whoopah. he's like, they've been 95, 96 on him all the time. Like that'd be pretty cool to get on. He's going to be the world champ. I think he is the world champ right now. And I mean, there's a pile of them. Normally the ones that are bucking and can't get rode, those are the ones I want to get on.
Right. Yeah. Because then it's a risk because you could get really badly hurt and you could get thrown like crazy, but you could get a really high point ride too.
Well, that's the thing. When you're getting on those ranked bulls, normally it's for a lot of money and it's worth it. So I like getting on those ones. But yeah, like there's in Canada, I'd like to get on that bull that tore my bicep. I mean, you can be 90 on that bull. He's a really good one. They call him Uncle Cranky. I'd like to get on him again, kind of get some revenge out of him. So
just spur him good, Yeah. So Jake, what would you say is your strength as a bull rider? Like, where are you strong? And then where do you have to work the most, do you think, to be successful?
Well, I'd have to say bulls that spin into my hands. So I'm right-handed. Bulls that go right, I'm really good at riding. It seems like I'm pretty comfortable. I get feeling comfortable and can spur on those ones. Bulls that go away from my hand, I kind of have a little trouble with. But I mean, I'm always working on it, and I feel like I can ride them really good that way. It's just a little more level of difficulty for some guys. And so it's a constant battle trying to work on that. I think one thing that really helps me with riding is I try really hard and I try not to let go in bad situations. I mean, sometimes I get hurt from it, but I feel like I'm tough and can bounce back from that stuff. So, I feel like I'd have to say the toughness helps me a lot. Yeah,
it's just that grit, hey? Like you just got to hang on regardless, I guess. Yeah.
Like seems like you look at the best guys in the world and they just seems like they had that try that nobody else had, that when they got in those bad positions where you get hurt, they just did something incredible to get back into position and make a good ride and win a bunch of money, and that seems like those are the best in the world, are those ones that put themselves in that position.
Yeah. And I want to ask you too about your training, Jake. Like, have you always trained as soon as you started getting on bulls, or let's even say steers, like when did that start? And then do you have a trainer that you work with, or you just kind of figure it out on your own, or how does that all work?
So I feel like when I was younger, I just kind of did it on my own. I would do whatever to get in shape. Like I like more CrossFit style workouts rather than lifting weights. There was a winter there when I was younger and I felt like I needed to get stronger, and I was hitting the gym for like 2 to 3 hours every night after work. And I was like really trying to get in shape, just to basically get me from the average level in Canada to a little bit higher to be able to ride those ranker bulls. I felt like I needed to get a little stronger. So I really trained in the gym hard that winter, and I felt like I kind of got to that level. And now it's more of just like smart training, like being stretched out and being strengthened in certain areas and stuff. Like I feel like as I'm getting older, I'm getting a lot smarter about training, like when to have a rest day and when to work on certain stuff. And I got with this group called Acumen Performance, and they've been doing a lot of research with rodeo athletes, and they've been putting on spring training camps and stuff like that. And so I'm getting a little more knowledgeable with them. Like my attitude towards it used to be, tough cowboy, I just go and hold on tight and let the rest will take care of itself. But I'm kind of like leaning more towards the health side of it, not completely, but just getting more educated and how can I make my body last longer. And so just kind of doing stuff like that. And I've been working with Acumen as of recent, and it seems like it's been helping.
Yeah. I've talked to a few people and had them on my podcast too. Other like people that are in the rodeo, whether it's bull riders or, bull fighters or whatever. There seems to be, there's not a lot of people getting into rodeo anymore. Do you feel like that's a problem, or do you feel like there's still a lot of young people coming up, especially in the bull riding?
I feel like it fluctuates. I feel like some years are going to be better than others. I feel like there was a few years there where it's kind of been stagnant, and I feel like this COVID kind of put a damper in it, because there was no events there for a year and a half. I feel like some people might have went and got a job and said, screw this rodeo thing. We can't make money doing it because there's no events. And I totally get that. But I think it's coming back. And we got lots of programs for the youth to get into it. And lots of people in this industry are good people and always want to give back. So I think that opportunity is there. But I don't know. It all depends on the year. It also... There's a lot more distractions nowadays, I think, rather than being a rodeo cowboy. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally. Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
what are your goals, Jake? Like, what do you still want to accomplish in your rodeo career?
Well, one thing that's really important to me is I want to make the NFR. That's the National Finals Rodeo in Las Vegas, Nevada in December. That's a huge goal of mine. That's the one I'm chasing right now. I've kind of like dropped everything I want to do in Canada right now, and I've been trying to chase it down here in the States. So that's kind of the next one I want to accomplish. And of course, you know, I want to be a world champion. That's always the end goal. I don't want to be in the top 15. I want to be number one at the end of the year. So that's kind of what I'm chasing now. And I'd love to get to the PBR World Finals eventually. And hopefully do the NFR a couple years. And of course, like I want to make the CFR in Canada this year, but I'm going to try and focus on the PRCA and the NFR down here for this year.
So what would you tell young people that are coming up, like maybe they're in their teens and, you know, they've gotten on a few steers and they really want to get into bull riding? What do they need to know, Jake?
I mean, they got to get comfortable being uncomfortable. I mean, it's a tough sport. I've hit lots of lows in it. You got to be gritty and just get ready to live kind of a different type of lifestyle, you know, like you can be doing really good at this sport and there's a lot of money to be made, but I feel like to get into it, it's kind of hard to get, you know, into that level. A lot goes into it. And I'd have to say, like, make sure you get on as much practice as you can. If you have a week off, make sure you're getting on practice bulls or, you know, doing something to get better and prepare yourself and just, you know, train as hard as you can to get ready for them ranker bulls. And so when you do get to that level, you know, you're ready and you're more confident in yourself.
Yeah, that's a good point. So what else do you do, Jake? We're going to wrap it up right away, but what's your day job? Because obviously you can't ride bulls all the time.
Well, like in the winter when I'm slow and I don't have rodeos, I like pipeline construction. I kind of grew up around that industry. My dad, he's an old pipeliner from way back. So in the wintertime, I like to go do that. It's good money. And I mean, it helps with physio. Like it's a workout for sure. So I like doing that. But when I'm riding bulls, this is my job. You know, if I have a slower week, I'll try and get on practice bulls a few times in a week. I try and train. I'll do stuff like yoga, stretching, running, just whatever I can do to get better at this and hopefully make good money at it. You know, I treat this like my job. So basically when I'm not at a rodeo, I'm still working at it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. And I think at your level. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm always trying to make money somehow, you know, stay busy some way. If somebody's got a job that needs done, I'll try and go get some labor in and do something, you know. It's just always trying to stay busy some way or another.
Yeah. So what do we need to know? What do people need to know about bull riding or rodeo? Let's say rodeo or bull riding. Like, you know, is there a future in it? Do you need more? Do we need to have more events? Do we need to have more people involved? Is it a dying thing? Like, you know, you hear all these different things. What's your take on it, Jake? Just in rodeo in general?
I think rodeo's hit or miss. You know, I think it is growing for sure. In the States, I mean, I feel like rodeo is really big down here, and it's always growing. But I think bull riding, like, it's a growing sport, and they're doing a lot for it. Like, they're starting a team concept down here in the States, kind of just like hockey teams, but it'll be bull riding. They're going to have 5 guys per team, and they're doing a draft just like a hockey team or a baseball team, and they're trying to structure it around there. So I think big things are happening. And I mean, there's a lot of opportunity to make good money. Like there's a Brazilian cowboy, Kayaki Pacheco. He just made 2.1 million at a rodeo called the American, you know? So, I mean, the opportunity's here to make money. And I think it's a growing sport, but I'm just optimistic about it, you know, but it's kind of hard. Like with COVID in Canada and our restrictions, they really hurt some small towns and small communities. So it'll be interesting to see if these rodeos can bounce back. And then like Winnipeg here, you know, like we had a PBR that was supposed to go on there and the city council voted against it because we're considered under the same thing as a circus. Well, I don't know about that, but just silly because these bucking bulls, you know, we give these bucking bulls a job. They're athletes now, and they're bred that way through bloodlines. And so, you know, people like that take away their job like that in Winnipeg, say, you know, that contractor was going to get $500 for his bull being out there, that's that bull's feed bill for several months. So, I mean, I feel like we need to start realizing that these sports are a little better for these animals than if we didn't have them, because then it gives them a job, gives them a purpose, right?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff that could be said about all of that. And it really does, like COVID definitely did put a lot of people in a really bad position, especially in rodeos and contractors, right? Like, what do you do with your animals when you can't take them to events, but you still got to feed them?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And so I don't know. It's just, I feel like people who aren't educated about it, I wish they'd get a little more educated about it. And I think they'd understand why we use these animals and what we use them for, you know what I mean? And I think a lot of rodeo people really care about animals and the Western way of lifestyle. And that's why we do this, right?
Well, I think a lot of people that are very much against it, a lot of people like that are very much against anything like, pipelines or oil field or forestry or whatever. A lot of the times they're very removed. They're not actually there. They don't really know what goes on. They don't go to the, the contractor's house and meet all the animals and see how he treats them. They just see that, oh, look at that horse broke its leg. Oh my goodness, this is terrible. It's like, come on, you got to look at the big picture. And I think that's the frustration that I have with that kind of stuff. It just gets really annoying after a while.
Yeah. I mean, I think the sport's always growing. I mean, there's so much opportunity for the younger kids nowadays. Like, I know up north where I'm at, the Teepee Creek, they got like a rodeo thing there. It's a junior rodeo thing. And there's a ton of kids. I've helped with the steer riding school there. There's tons of kids coming up there. And so I think the future's pretty bright for our sport. It's hard to tell with this COVID thing, though. We'll have to see if it bounces back.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, thanks so much, Jake. Any closing words, or do you feel like we kind of covered everything? Anything else you wanted to say, maybe to your fans or your family or anything else?
Oh, I don't know. Everyone out there who supports me and cheers me on, I sure appreciate it. And hopefully I get to see a lot of friends this year on the rodeo trail. It's going to be, it's bouncing back this year. We got a full schedule of rodeos, I see. So, go to that Canadian Professional Rodeo Association website and look at their schedule and see if there's a rodeo close by and go get your tickets and take your friends there. It's going to be a pretty good time this year on the rodeo trail. So hopefully you can see you around there.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Jake. Really nice talking to you. And hopefully I can see you on the circuit. Hey, it's Carla. Thanks so much for listening to the podcast today. I have 3 things I want to tell you about myself. But first, please go check out my company, Power Fitness Online. PowerFitnessOnline.com or Power Fitness Online, Facebook or Instagram. What I do there is I help you. I train you so you can get fit, strong, healthy, have energy, feel good, and be at your best. Because in this life, we want to be at our best. I do, you do, we all do. So here's 3 facts about myself. Number 1, I've been a fitness trainer for 20 years. Yes, 20 years. Number 2, I'm 5'4" 3/4, not 5'4.5", none of that. 5'4" 3/4. Number 3, I have 6 kids. Yes, they're all my own. None of them were twins. They're all my own. I had them one at a time. And I love my kids so much. So remember, go to powerfitnessonline.com if you want to get fit and stay fit.